Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Trade Ideas Live Trading Room Recap for Friday, February the 19th. My name is Barry Anderson. I am the moderator of our free trading room. This is the address to get into the room. We're open between 9 and 4 o'clock Eastern Time. I'm on the mic and I share my screen live during those two times. If you would like to subscribe to Trade Ideas, just type this in and you will be taken to a subscription page where we lay out all the different types of subscriptions that we have available right now. Okay, well, today was an interesting day. Very choppy. A lot of us tried to trade JWN Nordstrom. Um, I am still in this one. I am still in TRN Trinity. Let's see, get this a little bit bigger. This was actually a short play, and it the came from my option play. And the short actually was at 1657. Unfortunately, I did not get in there. I don't know to be honest with you, don't know quite what I was doing. I think it may have even popped up again, but as it came back down and it started to get to this level here, and then it started to drop, and then we started looking at it again, and when it broke down through 16, actually at 1601, I ended up taking the short, so it was right around here and got pretty excited, thought it would really collapse, and it just didn't. Got out of the trade at 1587 and at 16. And I did turn around and take the long in it, and I took the long at 1607. 1607 is about right there. I immediately took a little scalp on it at 1612, just in case it was just going to collapse back down through 16 again. But it didn't. Now I'm still in it. I'm almost, as I said, if it got down to, it had to break down to about 1615, I was going to get out of it. But it looks like it's wanting to bounce up again. So, I got a little greedy on here because obviously up to 1642 should have taken some out. I was saying that this is the area that looks like obvious resistance. We'll see if it breaks down through 1620 the second time, though. I will definitely get out, but not a bad trade. This is turning into an RBI on the 15, a red bar ignored. If this candle, this green candle, can remain above here, then we might get some. I might get some continuation on it. So now the other one is yesterday. I was talking about boot. And boot, you know what? It looked excellent, I have to admit. I was in this trade at 912 from yesterday, and it just hung around this area for the longest period of time. The only thing that concerned me were all these topping tails. Buyers trying to take it up, sellers knocking it down, but it settled down towards the end of the day, and it just basically hung 930. And it didn't trade in the pre-market. And then look at this, the opening candle. I said, all right, it's going 950, and then it just dropped, and it dropped, and it dropped. Excuse me. Luckily, I was able to get out basically flat. Excuse me again. I was in at 912, basically flat. But this to me was just craziness. I mean, to have this spike high immediately, that was about the first trade, and then it just sell off brutally. I mean, all this consolidation obviously meant nothing yesterday once it broke down through that. However, I will continue to watch this. I will continue to watch it. Let's take a look on the daily chart. And this might be just a little pullback. It's had a few days up in a row. Might be the little pullback. So if it gets over 9 again and looks like it wants to hold, it still has a nice little void to fill to about 12. Now remember I was talking about NHTC, and I should have practiced what I preached. I said watch it. I completely forgot about it. I thought I put it in my watch list and I didn't. And this is the one that I was talking about right around here. And it has this massive. I mean, there's a supreme gap it could fill, but even up to this area is a great gap to fill. So I would be watching this on Monday just to see. This could be just a little pullback day. This is now an RBI on a daily chart. What we're talking about, RBI, red bar ignored. Here's the trend. Here's the first red bar, and now maybe the trend continues. So absolutely watch this one on Monday. And Fleur. I only want to talk about Fleur. I got into this one. It was a very quick. Let's get the time frame. Let me the 15-minute. Yeah. Unfortunately, I did get whipped out of it, but I'm talking about this one more for the fact, and you can have this window now. I made a modification, number one, to the to this. This is the live one. This is the don't repeat one. So this is what I'm watching all day, and this is wow. This CLMT was just a beauty. Um, This is what I'm watching all day. My option plays, and notice it says no percent from the close. So what I've done is I have before it used to be that in order for me to get long a stock, it had to be above the close, and for me to get short the stock, it had to be below the close. That was one of the filters I had, and I decided to take that filter out just to see what would happen. And I also, I have all the strategies here. This is 300%, 200%, 350, 200, 150. Notice what I've done. I'm only looking at 150 right now. In other words, I didn't want to see a bunch of duplicates anymore. I'm thinking that the one at 150, 150% volume, option volume, it seemed to be good enough. For now, for the time being, if I see that a lot of them at 150 just stall and then move in the opposite direction from what I want, then maybe I will have to, raise it again and check off the 200 and 300. And again, what I'm doing here, just if you're new, come on, get out of here. Uh, okay. What I'm doing here is I'm basically looking at stocks that have abnormal option volume. I'm not looking to play the option itself. I'm just looking for stocks that have abnormal option volume. So and at 150%, so if a stock normally trades 500 options a day, then it's got to trade 750 for it to get triggered. Now, you notice here that my option volumes, they're all pretty high anyway. I mean, there's one at 152, one at 166, but most of them, here's 208, but most of them are, here's 4,000, 230. So most of them are pretty high anyway, but I just decided to take the 200 and the 300 out because I was getting, a lot of alerts in this window. And so for the sake of, not having quite as many alerts, I decided to do that, and it seems to be working all right. Now, the FLIR is what I really want to talk about though, because notice here, this is where when the alert was at 4472. So it would have been right 4472, right about here. Okay, let me just put a mark there. So the alert happened right about there. But notice here is the close from yesterday. So we're still way below the close. So had I not taken out this, the filter that said it had to be above the close, I would not have seen this one at all. But notice how it's moving up. So it is still triggering on a new high for the day. And then the option, let's see, when did the option kick in? You see, there it is, 161. So it just snuck in. So you might say, well, it was making a new high right there and there and there, but the option volume was still not above 150. So right here is when the option volume hit 150 and a new high of the day was made. So that's why I got the trigger here. But again, I'm watching to see whether or not it really makes any difference at all, whether the stock is up for the day. Typically, stock that's up for the day and the option volume is strong, abnormal option volume. That's what we're looking for is momentum. Here we're looking for, I mean, yeah, we're looking for momentum, but we could get stalled because this is right now it's a weak stock, and typically a lot of times I could just not have the same sort of momentum. However, this one worked. I am going to go. I think a couple of the other ones worked. JWN was another one. Very difficult to trade. 48 56. So let me just type in JWN. Yeah, so is that 4856? See right there, 4856. Again, would not have triggered before because it's well below the open. This was an earnings play. So 4856 is right there, and it was choppy, but look, it is up. It worked. So I'm going to take a look at them all at the end of the day, and the reverse is true too. Let me see Wes. See if that was above the open. No. So I mean, here's where it closed yesterday. So this one would have triggered in both cases. Same thing though. Imagine if West was up here and it started falling, I will get the alert now, even though it's above the, I'm sorry, when I said above the open, even though it's above the close of yesterday, this is just the reverse now that could happen. I could start getting some stocks to go short on, even though they're above yesterday's close. So hope that makes sense. If you want this options play window, just email me right here, info@trade-ideas.com, and I'd be happy to give it to you. All right, that's it for today. Again, you want to subscribe. Here's the address. Just type this in and hit enter, and you'll be taken to my Trade Ideas subscription page. And again, live 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. every day, and I do share my screen. Everybody have a great weekend, and hope to see you in our trading room bright and early on Monday morning. Bye bye.